first graders. So for the next couple of days in math, we're going to be working on weight. Our goal at the bottom of the screen says, I can use weight vocab, which means words, correctly to compare and label the weight of two or more objects. So let's start by comparing the weight of two objects. I have two animals at the bottom of my screen, a frog and a lion. What kinds of words might you use to describe the weight of the frog and the lion? You might use words like heavy and light. Which word would you put with each animal? Which one is heavy? Which one is light? I would say that the lion is heavy and the frog is light, because my prior knowledge tells me that I can hold a frog in my hand, but I cannot hold a lion in my hand. So I know that the lion is heavier, which leads us to our next kinds of words that we can use. We can also use words like light and lighter to describe our lion and our frog, or heavy and heavier. The part of the word, which I highlighted in orange, means more. So just means more. So lighter means more light, and heavier means more heavy. So if I were to first try using the words light and lighter to describe my frog and lion, which one is lighter? Let's start with that. Which one is more light? I would say the frog is lighter. I know that it has a more light weight than the lion. So I could say the frog is lighter and the lion is light. I know that might seem kind of silly because you might think, well, a lion isn't very light, but it is light compared to some other objects in the world. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. I also could use heavy and heavier. So at first I'm going to think about which of these animals is heavier. Which one is more heavy? I would say the lion's weight is heavier. It's more heavy. It has more weight. And then that would make the frog heavy. So again, it seems kind of silly because you might say, well, a frog isn't heavy. But if I compare to some other things in the world, I might say it is. So those are some different ways that I can describe the weight of two objects. I could also compare the weight of three objects. Now I have three animals at the bottom of my screen: a frog, a lion, and a whale. So I could describe these animals as light, lighter, and lightest, or heavy, heavier, and heaviest. Again, the part of the words in the orange, means more. So lighter means more light, heavier means more heavy. The est part of the words in pink means most. So lightest means most light, and heaviest means most heavy. So I could use these groups of words now to compare my animals. For light, lighter, and lightest, let's start with the lightest. Which of these animals is the most light? I would say that's the frog. I know that he has the least amount of weight because, again, I can pick him up. Which one would be lighter? Which one is more light out of the lion and the whale? I would say the lion would be lighter because I've seen a whale and they are huge. So that would make the whale light, which again sounds kind of silly because you probably think a whale isn't light. So I could say lightest, lighter, light. I can also use heavy, heavier, and heaviest. Let's start this time with heaviest. Which of these animals is the heaviest, the most heavy? I would say that would be the whale. I know they're huge and they weigh a lot. Then I have the frog and the lion. Which one is heavier? Which one is more heavy out of the two? I would say the lion, because again, I can't pick him up. And that would leave the frog with being heavy. All right. So that's a way those are different words you can use to compare the weight of three objects. All right, but at the very end, I want to say, careful, the vocab you're using depends on what you're comparing. There was some weird words I used, like when I said that the frog was heavy, and when I said that the whale was light. The reason for that is because it always depends on what you're comparing objects to. So here's my whale again. What's the first word you would use to describe the whale's weight? I would probably say heavy. I think my whale is heavy. But what if I compared the whale to the sun? Whoa! Then I would say my whale isn't heavy anymore. Now my whale is light. See how the whale can be considered light sometimes? It all depends on what you're comparing to. Or, what if I get my frog back again? What's the first word you would use to describe the frog's weight? You might say light. I know I would. But what if I compared the frog to an ant? All of a sudden, my frog isn't light anymore. I would say my frog is heavy, and the ant is now light. So it always depends on what you're comparing to. Anything in this world can be heavy or light, or lighter, lightest, heavier, or heaviest. Any word can label any object. It all depends on what you are comparing to. All right, first graders, have a wonderful day learning about weight. Bye.